Hey, Marth, let's cut through the crap.
Avoid the bullshit.
Yeah, so today we're talking about avoiding bullshit and gurus. The reason I've brought this up is, well, I think historically we've had a couple of clients that might fall into this category, which is maybe a bit naughty to say, but when it comes down to it, are they walking the walk or are they just talking the talk? And I've been in some masterminds, I've been in some coaching programs where I've sat around a table with some of these people and they can say all the right things, wear the right clothes, show up in the right car, travel on the right train. But when you scratch the surface, the substance isn't there. They've bought all the books, but have they actually read them? Like, do they know all the business cliches? Do they know all the things to say? But actually, and to be honest, like, they could work with you and probably get you a result to start with, because they could say a few things that get you G'd up, like that first 6 weeks of motivation gets you a little bit of a buzz. But then when you get into it and a real problem occurs or you hit a plateau, they're full of fire.
Yeah. Have you got someone in mind that you're specifically thinking about?
Fucking loads of them. I find it difficult. It's not just coaches. I see it with business owners, see it with family members, and ultimately it has to happen, because if everyone that was in these programs was successful, there wouldn't be enough to go around. But it's like the note taker who writes furious amounts of notes and then that notebook never comes out their bag, or like
it's people taking pictures of this slideshow and you're like, I just know you're never ever going to look at that again.
Oh yeah, that's really weird, isn't it? Where it's like the presenter says, don't worry, I'll give you the slides, and certain people insist on taking a photo of every slide.
The last one I went to, they actually said, I'm not giving you the slides. And so it like forced people to be more engaged, take notes. And also I think they didn't want people stealing their slides.
Really? The leadership training?
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. They were like, I'll be honest, it's because I was pissed off that I saw somebody reuse my slides in their own presentation, so we'll not be sending you the slides, but like, you're welcome to take pictures. You've got your workbook, you can take as many notes as you want, but I will not be sending you. I think actually when they say I'll send you the slides, you automatically like, oh, it doesn't matter if I miss a few.
Pay attention.
I'm pissing about a bit. I think that's actually a bit of a power move.
I like that, yeah. My slides would be useless to anyone because there's fuck all on them. They exist as prompts for me.
That's how it should be, right?
Yeah, like a little tiny bit of information, a prompt and an image, just to pull people back in when you click the button. It blows my mind when it's like fucking War and Peace on a slide.
I can see why it would be though, because if you're like nervous about presenting and so you want all your information on there.
Yeah.
If you haven't practiced
Get
enough,
yourself on a better stage. Like some of the stages I speak on, it's like has a teleprompter.
Oh, not even a stage.
Well, there's that, yeah. But the good ones have like a teleprompter in front of you.
And time counting down.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
looks stressful.
I quite like it.
3 seconds.
I quite like it. Because like I know how many slides I've got. So if it's 30 minutes and I've got 10 slides, I'll spend 3 minutes a slide.
Yeah, my brain would not work like that.
Yeah. That is literally how my brain works. So it's like perfect for me.
I'd be like ignoring the time.
Like, the last talk I did, and it was for Ben Knight, who we mentioned on the last point, he had a legacy event where he was talking about building a legacy. And I was giving a talk about how business owners struggle to think about things they'd love to do outside of their business. And I pretty much winged it because my slides were on point. I knew what the content was. I talked about it in so many different ways on different podcasts that because I had the timer in front of me, I just structured my way through the slides. But what these gurus do is they'll say like performative vulnerabilities on stage. So it's like where like a good example would be like, oh, I was just about to launch my business and then I got pregnant.
There's 9 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's like, well, you can get pregnant by accident. I totally appreciate that. But there's an element of choice. And what you've done is you've made a sob story around something that wasn't really related to your decision to start a business. Whereas, like, I've also met people who stood on stage and said, cash flow was terrible and I thought about killing myself. Well, that's genuine vulnerability. That's like fucking hell. So you do have to be aware of this like performative vulnerability where people are like, oh, I used to get bullied at school. And then you could be like, oh, tell me about when you got bullied at school. And it's like, oh, the kids always used to make me sit at the front. So, well, hang on. There's bullied and there's bullied. And so just like dig a little bit deeper. There's a guy at the moment called Gary Stevenson who says he was the best trader in the world. And now he thinks that we need to redistribute wealth. And I don't disagree with some of that I think some of the rich are only getting richer and it's making the poor poorer. But his argument's too simple. And he claims that he was the best trader in the world and that one year he made £3 million at Citibank. And now my brain straight away went, okay, here's a guru who's platforming himself with this story. He's got a best-selling, Sunday Times best-selling book. I was like, £3 million as a trader doesn't sound like the best trader in the world. Like, I don't think traders on the trading floor of HSBC would be shitting themselves at £3 million.
And also, in that context, aren't you just trading someone else's money?
Well, you could be trading all sorts.
So
could be like foreign exchange, could be stocks and shares.
Isn't the profit based on how much you put on, though?
I don't know. But £3 million in the scheme of global trading doesn't sound like a big number to me. I don't think that makes you the best trader in the world. So then I dug a little bit deeper and you start to peel away some of the story. And
ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is the best trader in the world?
Exactly. I've got like deep research on ChatGPT. I've seen it with other people who've got stories from their childhoods that are like the anchor of every talk they ever do on stage. And like there's one in particular, and I can't say who it was because they were very recently a client. But they've got a very specific story about something that happened to them when they were a kid that I was like, well, the local media would have definitely reported on that. So I'm going to research because I'm pissed off. I can't find anything to verify it. Nothing. And if something that dramatic happened to you, that in a public space that involved multiple hospitals and multiple responses, there would be a trace of it happening. And so I'm like, cautious of this like performative vulnerability, especially when my own vulnerability and some of the things that have happened to me, it's taken me a long time to be able to talk about them. And so when a 22-year-old guru stands on stage and says how they've been like beaten up for 37 years, hang on, you said you were 22.
Maybe they just have great Botox.
Yeah.
But perception is reality, right? And so nothing terrible might have happened to you, but then I guess you just don't. Who gives the framework for like, say something, I guess, but you can say something sensational that it doesn't have to relate to.
Yeah, relatability, isn't it? Like, if you're struggling and you're looking for a coach who's going to help you not struggle, it's more likely you're going to buy from someone who's been through the struggle.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, my coach has been through some serious fucking struggle. And that's why I relate to him and like him. But it's real. It's not performative. Whereas, like...
There's nothing about him that isn't real.
Yeah, well, we did that episode the other day about the CEO of Fuck All and these people who claim to have done 7-figure launches. And again, if you do your research, there are very few people in the world who've done a 7-figure pounds launch. So what do they mean by 7-figure launch? Do they mean dirham?
Yeah.
Do they mean groats? Do they mean the lifetime value of all of those customers they brought in from that launch came to over 7 figures? What do they mean?
Yeah, is it net?
It's performative again, yeah. And like they have buzzwords, these people. They'll say things like alignment and my truth and holding my space and the power within. And I'm like, hang on, what the fuck? Like, I don't give a shit about your truth. What about my truth?
Yeah.
And so I'm just getting agitated because I've seen after COVID that there's this massive boom of not just coaches and consultants, but business owners that are like talking about their truth. Well, there's no such thing as your truth. There's only one truth.
Yeah.
The truth. So it might be your opinion. Your opinion is not truth. And so I get and then they will back at you with like, well, you can't trust everything scientists tell you. Well, yeah, I agree. If they prove something to me, I trust it.
Yeah. There's that thing, isn't there, that's like, there's my story, your story, and the truth.
Yes.
And that because your opinion will affect how you see the truth happen.
Yeah, and you have to be self-aware enough to know that your perspective is not the truth, which I think there's a real egocentric thing when you say the phrase "my truth." What do you mean your truth? Like,
It doesn't even make sense.
yeah, if I came in tomorrow and said to you guys, like, my truth is that, I don't know what I'd fucking say, that ice cream isn't cold, you'd all be like, what the fuck? So it's just not cold to me. Cold to me is -40 and ice cream's only -3. So my truth is ice cream's not cold. Well, fuck off, Joel. Like, what are you talking about? Or like, I don't feel very aligned with you guys at the moment because you're staff and I'm the boss. So I'm not coming to the company drinks tomorrow. What? What's a faster way to feel less aligned? Like, and so, I'm.
Are you driving tomorrow?
Yeah,
I think I'm going to have to now.
I don't really drink anyway. So,
I drink.
You do, yeah. But I don't want people to get this wrong and think that I'm ranting about people who are performative, because some of the best speakers I've ever seen are performative. There's energy and they tell a story really well and it's engaging. It's the ones that are performative and full of themselves, but when you look at the scoreboard, it's empty. And there's too many of them at the moment. Too many of these like fucking hype merchants.
Do you think, though, to be not a good coach, but a successful coach, monetary-wise, you have to be a good performer? Because you have to be able to attract.
No.
Oh, I guess you could rely on testimonials.
Reputation, yeah.
Yeah.
So some do have to be a good performer to attract, because they have to make enough noise to cut through the shit. But I've met some coaches of like literally high-level CEOs who you'd have never heard of other than their reputation precedes them. And so you only get to work with them by invite. And that's quite cool as well. And I've also met some coaches who are really fucking good but only work with 5 people at a time. So they're not in it for volume, they're in it for quality. And same with like there's a lot of consultants out there that naturally are not performative or loud. They're just like, once they were really fucking good at IT and now they can come in and solve your cybersecurity issues. I can guarantee you their websites are going to be quite dry. Their YouTube content's going to be boring.
If they have any.
But if you've got a cybersecurity specialist coming into your business and they're performative and they're loud and they're clowning around, I'm not sure that's going to be a very good cybersecurity specialist.
I was literally, we were talking about this the other day, but about like somebody that I'm working with, and I was like, I don't want them to be the person I want to speak to in the pub. I want them to be calm and methodical and boring.
You go to the GP,
I want to be bored.
You go to the GP and they start telling you all their relatable stories. Oh, shut the fuck up. Diagnose me.
When I had gout, fuck off. Yeah. I've got 15 minutes.
I've dealt with 15 people in my career who had gout as severe as this, and let me tell, fuck off. So, yeah, I think it's that, like, knowing what's the right thing to be. And I've met marketers who are shrinking violets. They're quiet and they're non-assuming characters, but they're very intellectual and they're very data driven and they're very good at their job and they're very good at making other people make a lot of noise. Fine. I like to think I'm quite good at some of those things, but I'm also quite loud and performative.
But not always, though. You haven't always been.
I've always loved a song and a dance. I love being in a school play and stuff.
And you always wanted to get on stage?
Never worried about talking in front of people. Always hate talking in small groups.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because I've always, rightly or wrongly, had confidence in my opinion and confidence in being able to justify my opinion. I've learned over time that it doesn't matter as much as I think it does. And I really enjoy hearing other people's opinions now. Like my barber, for example, has a lot of different opinions to me, but I really enjoy our chats.
Yeah, I do. Me and Ben, again, God, we just love Ben on this podcast, have very different opinions on things.
But you like the debate. I love
the debate. And then shake hands at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Is that, and I think there's an element of maturity to that. It's a lost skill in society to be able to enjoy different opinions.
It's the ego thing again, isn't it? Of like not being right. It's so hard, I think. I love having my opinion changed, actually, because I don't know enough about a lot of things.
Tell you what, go into the fucking jungle with Dora the Explorer. Oh, is that a rhinoceros hornbill? No, Joel. That's a helmeted hornbill. Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Like, yeah. Back in my book. Is that a crocodile? No. Oh, okay. It's a log.
Did you see any crocs?
Yeah, salties. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, big ones.
What do they have in Florida?
Alligators.
And crocs? No.
Well, only if they've escaped. It's alligators in Florida.
Oh, is it? Just like on the...
And they have lots of escaped pythons.
Yay. What's the more dangerous, alligators or crocodiles?
Crocodiles.
In water. Well, on land as well, they're faster.
Both, yeah. You very rarely hear of people dying from alligator attacks.
Do they kill for fun, or is that not programmed into
No,
them?
it's just they're just apex predators.
So if they're hungry or threatened, dead.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what am I, fucking Steve Irwin?
I don't know. Let's get Hannah on.
We'll never get her on.
Not even if it was to talk about.
So much about crocodiles.
I'm just interested.
Do you know who Christopher Crocodile is?
No.
Do you know what his favourite food was?
People.
No.
Ice cream.
There's a cartoon when I was a kid, Christopher Crocodile.
Peanut butter.
And his favourite food is your least favourite food.
Custard.
Yeah.
The alliteration.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, and never even registered. I can't remember what the name of the town was that he lived in, but tremendous cartoon.
It would be like Carlsville, wasn't it? Surely, go with the sea.
Find out after. Stay tuned for the next episode where we tell you where did Christopher Crocodile live. So
anyway, back to bullshitters.
Yeah. They'll talk about like becoming and being rather than doing. So like, it's almost fake it to make it, but like, oh, and then I became the best version of myself.
Have you ever like accidentally brought into somebody like that, and what effect did it have on the biz?
Fucking loads of people. That's why I'm so bitter.
Yeah. So, did you have good experience and bad, or was it all bad?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's no experience in life that doesn't have positives, which is a hard thing to say, but you have to find the positives. So I worked with a coach who was very like, become this, access this, be this. Well, what do you actually want me to fucking do?
What made you move towards them? Was it not that to start with?
They had all the tricks in the book.
Or did you want to change?
No, they had humour, they had performative, they had vulnerability, they
nice
had
shoes?
Outcomes. They did have nice shoes. They had outcomes that, whether they were true or not, I don't know now. And you get drawn in. And they price it in a way that makes you think, well, to charge that much, they must be fucking good.
Yeah, that's the thing about pricing. If it's too low, you're like, must be shit.
And then you pull on the threads and it starts to unravel, and then you're like, oh, they rent their house, which, don't get me wrong, there's a big argument for that renting is a good thing. But, oh, they rent their house. Oh, they don't own their car. Oh, a lot of the stuff where they've said they've spoken on stages is actually them just standing on the stage in the break and getting a photo. Oh, they've put this testimonial out from me that I never said. And then like, oh,
what else is on? Yeah. And
then like, oh, they've gone through their next 30 clients without retaining any of them, and you start to think, oh, there's something not right here. And like,
what negative impact and then positive impact did that have on?
Negative. It was an expensive lesson.
Did it make you work harder to get that back though?
No. I think the thing I found most negative was you start to get drawn into that's the correct way to do business.
Like the deceitful.
And it's not quite snake oil sales, because snake oil sales is selling something that completely doesn't work. It's just bollocks. Most of these coaches do have one or two things that do work that they can cling to. And sometimes the placebo of the hype is enough to get you a result. But ultimately, commercial business is selling someone something that then they can use to sell their thing for more. So if we sell marketing to so-and-so, it positions their business that they can sell more of their widget, or they can sell their widget for more money, or they can enter a new country with their widget. If you go to the accountant, they shave off some of the costs in your business. They help you get on top of your numbers so you can see where the profit margins are, which in turn means you can make better business decisions and make more money.
Be compliant.
Be compliant, yeah, not get in trouble, not lose money, exactly. Some of these like hype gurus, it's renter, mate. You're paying to spend time with someone who's claiming to be a celebrity, and then you're buzzing off the dopamine hit. Now, if you're doing that with your eyes open and it's like, look, I've spent 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand to hang out with this person because they make me feel good, and that's the outcome you want, fine. Like, fine. Like, who's to put a price on that?
Yeah, it'd be like, I spent 10 grand to go on holiday because it makes me feel good.
Yeah. If they've said, oh, I guarantee if you invest 10 grand in me, I'll double your money or give you your money back. Well, they better fucking double your money. And most of them don't. So.
Or offer guarantees.
Yeah. Like, a lot of the guarantees of these characters are like impossible.
Like you have to do 10 setups.
Yeah, you've got to attend
upside down
every call Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for 37 weeks. But when it's a blue moon on the 5th of February, if you don't do a cartwheel, this guarantee is invalid. And I just think you've got to be really careful where, like, if you're masterminding with these kind of people, if you're in networking situations with these kind of people, just be aware that because they're full of hype doesn't mean they're full of success, and that it doesn't diminish what you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it. And that sometimes you've got to be careful not to follow people who aren't willing to do the hard yards, because there's a limit to what they can achieve with that method. And actually, like, the successful business owners, inverted commas successful, have done the hard yards. They've got the cuts and the bruises and the grazes to show.
And success looks different, like, to different people, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you might respect one business owner because they're successful in that their business runs without them and they get to spend a lot of time doing X, Y, and Z. It might be the monetary you see, like, oh, that they're really successful in that way. It may be the influence or the results they've got for other people, but they might not be actually making any money.
Yeah.
But that is they're still very successful. Like, success it's subjective, isn't it? But
yeah,
what draws you now towards people? Like, what
draws me towards people?
Yeah, like, how do you, like, look at your, like, bullshit, I'm aligned with you.
Values.
Yeah.
I'm not that arsed about the case studies, the results, the promises they make on the stage or in a book or on telly. Is how do they operate as a human? How do they talk to the waitress when she brings a drink to the table? How do they talk to one of my team when my team answer the phone? What do they send me in the post to, like, remind me of them?
Are you trying to get more gifts through the post?
Yeah, more swords, please. But, like, if someone, I think it's kindness. I think if someone lacks kindness and empathy, I get alarm bells. And usually their lack of kindness and empathy comes through an element of self-involvement. They normally have main character energy, which we've talked about before. So if they're like, if they talk a lot about my and I and about how difficult everything's ever been for them, I take a step back now, where if they're like inclusive and they've got like friendship vibes, really. Like, I used to avoid friendship vibes in business because I used to think it was a bit like,
you want to keep it separate.
I've got my friends separate, and then I realised, no, I only want to work with people I like. And
sometimes you have to have difficult conversations, don't you, with, like, you know, one of Jason's one of our best friends, Jason and my partners, is also like, they do a lot of business together, and sometimes he's like, he's really annoying me today, I'm not speaking to him, and then it'll be like, but it's just business, like, let's go for dinner or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's hard, like, to to be able to just make that separation.
Yeah. But as long as there's no malice involved, it's fine. Like if there's no, if it's just a difference of opinion within business, that's fine, isn't it? And like, I used to, when I started in business, you say, would I go for a pint with this person? If the answer was no, I'm not employing them, working with them, having them as a supplier.
Really?
And I kind of abandoned that for growth. And I've come back round to it now. Like, I probably think I could go through our entire client list now and quite happily go for a drink with any of them.
Would you? I mean, there's people I respect, but I probably wouldn't go for a drink with them.
On our client list?
Yeah.
Oh, they wouldn't go for a drink with you, Mark.
No, they probably wouldn't.
No. But yeah, it's that. Yeah, mutual respect is the other. Yeah, it's either like clearly a good match, you get on, or you've got mutual respect. Where respect doesn't exist is where the problems lie. And maybe there'll be people that listen to this that disagree with me and be like, you've called out some stuff that I think is really valuable. Well, that's fine. You probably don't respect my opinion on that. And so maybe we aren't a match. And that's okay. Because I probably don't respect your opinion on it. And I like to think I respect most people's opinion when they can justify it. So maybe there's a conversation to be had where it's like, actually, I worked with what you would call a guru, and they said things about alignment and vibrations, and actually my entire life has been transformed by them, and they're a really good person, and they give all of their profits to charity. So fuck you, Joel. And I'd have to be like,
fair enough.
Yeah, fair play. And that's okay too. But it doesn't mean that I would work with that person. But I do think you should be cautious of being in those rooms where these hype merchants are banging on about how much they've done and how much they've achieved, and yet they haven't.
And and I think for me it would be like feeling like less of a successful person.
Yeah.
Because I haven't done that, or I'm following this, but I haven't managed to do it.
So I sort of wrote down some warning signs. So like,
interesting,
to rattle them off. They've read 100 books, but they couldn't quote you a single lesson from any of those books. They attend everything but produce nothing. They default to fluffy language when you press them on evidence. That's a good one. Their advice is vague, broad, and often copied. They wear busyness, as in being busy, like a badge, but they don't have the results to demonstrate why they've been so busy. And they avoid metrics and specificity like the plague. And I think when you're in those networking environments, a good way to like sort the wheat from the chaff is to be like, what did you do last week that moved your business forward? And see what they say.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So, yeah, just be aware of these gurus. If you feel like you might have been caught up by one, I'm always open to a chat. I think
DM me the name.
Yeah, DM me the name of the guru and we'll get them.
And I'll send you a selfie of a smiley face or a crying face.
But I think like the important thing when you're in these environments is to be a doer, to like do the work and then see if you get the result, not just like sit and hope.